One of the fastest growing demographics in Merced is seniors. Seniors need cheap or free and safe transportation. Seniors need programs to help keep them engaged mentally, physically, and socially. How can our city government be more involved in developing programs or better access to programs for seniors? And related, there was also a question about funding for housing for veterans programs. So I think if folks could also touch on that would be super helpful.
Well, as the only senior veteran to be at the table, I certainly support those programs. I just ask that they be done by 8 o'clock at night. You know, bedtime for seniors. There are a number of wonderful programs, again, in Merced. I've often tried to think, what would a senior program look like if it was based on the Mercado? Seniors, we're pretty set in our ways. You know, we like to get together amongst ourselves. We love food, so we like barbecues and things like that. Veterans, if you haven't been part of the American Legion, it's a wonderful place for veterans to go to, and they provide their own services there. And seniors need transportation also. So that goes right along with our previous talk about facilitating transportation.
Okay, well, you're not the only senior, at least according to AARP. So I happen to be kind of a senior as well. I will tell you, Merced College has a wonderful senior program, and I think it's unutilized. So I think getting the word out there that there's programs available through Merced College, and the city of Merced can piggyback off of that. Like, if they're offering youth programs, they can start up senior programs. I'd love to see seniors participate in outdoor activities that were sponsored by the city of Merced. As for funding for veterans housings, I think we need to look at that. We do have veterans transitional housing. I'd like to see the city expand that, and also the retention in that housing. So not just transitional, but make that into permanent housing for our veterans.
For seniors, again, we talked a little bit about the senior center, but we really need to be proactive in letting our seniors know where that's going to be and finding a more centered place for that. But I also want to bring up that there's also Latino seniors, and so we need to take them into consideration, because I have a couple tias here that don't know about the senior center, and I have one tia that came in and she said that the senior center here wasn't really what she was looking for. So we need to, Merced's 59% Latinos, so we need to address that too, and whatever senior programs or senior centers we develop, we can work with the MAC to provide art workshops or different things for our seniors, and you know, we got to work with the county for programs for our veterans, and because they are the main funding source for a lot of that.
So the last 2 years I've been able to go to Washington, D.C., and one of the initiatives that we brought forward was it's the VASH program, and you receive these vouchers, veterans do, and this is what approves them to get into housing. The only thing is, when you are in this, when you get one of these vouchers, there is a caseworker that goes along with it, and that's where they're finding the shortage of, is these workers that go along with these vouchers. And part of the other problem is you have to have your master's, and you're getting about $65,000 a year. And so when you look at the amount of money you've spent on your education to go and get this job, which is a very rewarding job, we can't get those vouchers without that person. So we are seeing this lack, and so we've been advocating for this when we go to Washington, D.C. the last 2 years. And really quickly, our PD, they do educational programs for elders, and then also I would 100% would support any programs regarding to transportation. Need to talk to MCAG and what they can do to help transit elders at a discounted rate.
So something I mentioned earlier, and I'll mention again, is I think making sure that public transit is convenient for our seniors, because as Sayer mentioned, we're a diverse community. Different seniors have different ideas of what their golden years are going to look like. If you ask my tias o tios, like if they were going to go to a retirement home, no way they're doing that. they want to age in their home, and having public transportation that is convenient for them to go from their home to whatever programs we have as a city would be a good way to ensure all seniors have access to these programs. Additionally, I would make a commitment to all the seniors in Merced. Any programs we do have already, I would make sure that they're protected and we get proactive in relocating the senior center. And with veterans, we need to make sure the federal government's doing their part so that we can repay veterans for their service. They signed a blank check for our country, and we need to make sure that we're repaying that now.
So local government has to be proactive in safeguarding our communities, but also advocating and showing up for our communities when it's necessary. So who your state and federal representatives matter. That is where we get funding for a lot of the programs for veterans. And so I'm committed to increasing our partnerships and using the platform of council member to secure living spaces, but also investments into like our Legion Hall, which still needs a lot of improvements. Our county has done a decent job. However, it's not enough when you're having veterans not wanting to access services or not knowing where to go when they need these services. In terms of senior programming, working with Merced Senior Inc., they raised $750,000 for the senior center. They deserve and they've earned the right to hear from our council members on where they're going to go and where they're going to access these services. So I'm definitely committed to fighting for our veterans and our seniors.